Hello, it's me, Steven, the calculator guy, and today we're going to dig into yield nodes. And I know this is a touchy subject, so my goal here is to offend everyone. I imagine that those who are fully on board the yield nodes train won't like this video, and I imagine those who are super anti-yield nodes won't like this video. There's no way to win in this video. My goal here is specifically to inform you about what Yieldnodes does, how they generate their revenue, and what it is as an ecosystem so that people who do invest understand their investment a little bit better. My job here is not to convince you to or not to invest at all. I do not want to do that. Simply information. That is my only goal. But before I do that, I do sort of want to shill one thing, and that is the Hungry Children Foundation. So the Hungry Children Foundation, if you guys don't know, is one of the coolest organizations ever, sort of led by this guy named Miguel, with whom I've spoken personally many times. He, as you can see in this video, goes to villages all over Venezuela and feeds people, literally feeds people food, brings them flour, brings them ingredients to make food. We have also literally sent water tanks to Venezuela. Oh, there we go, right here. You can see them. These help store fresh and safe, usable water, potable water for different communities. So this guy is amazing, but he doesn't want to rely on donations anymore. Me and a few other people actually bought him a small bus so that he could start doing bus routes as a way to generate income, but that bus kind of broke. So he's looking to purchase a diesel bus, which is a little bit more money than he has at the moment. So currently he's raising about $2,000 more out of what we've sent, or what has sent, and I would just be over the moon if any of you, even a single person here, could help out Miguel and the Hungry Children Foundation a little bit. I will include all links to donate to this guy down below. He's the real deal. You can literally see the good work he does. He's just an awesome guy. So, and his whole thing is trying to get away from relying on donations. So, anyways, just wanted to shout out to Miguel. Great guy. Hopefully everything goes well for him. Let's jump into Yieldnodes. So we're going to look at a few assets here in a second, but the first thing I want to do is look at the performance of Yieldnodes since their inception, right? And this is compared to Bitcoin, Dow Jones, and gold. You can sort of see what's going on here. Let me move myself out of the way. Yieldnodes has performed incredibly well. Yieldnodes has done, let's actually start with one. You can sort of see that it's gone to 10. Well, that can't be right. Oh, this is 500. So you can't go to 1. Well, let's do 1,000, because then we can just take away 3 zeros. All right. So if you take away 3 zeros, you can see that it's effectively done like a 21. Oh, well, the total profit's right here, right? Total profit, 2,015%, which is a 20x effectively since its inception, which is really good. So how are they doing that, right? Last month they did, I think, 6.5%. The month before that they did 6.8%, something like that, and the month before that they did like 7%, and they've been doing between 15 and 5% consistently for months and months per month. How are they doing that, right? Well, the first thing that probably comes to mind is this is unsustainable, this can't last, what's going on here? So let me just tell you what is going on here so you can make your own analyses. When you participate in Yieldnodes, what happens is after you KYC, after they allow you to deposit funds, you can deposit Bitcoin or USDT from the TRC20 blockchain. That's just the Tron blockchain, or the Tether chain, depending on how you want to speak about it, but it's technically Tron. You can send that from any centralized exchange or from a Tron wallet. Or you can send Bitcoin, from Bitcoin chain. Once you do that, once they have the funds, what they do is they immediately reinvest that into Decenemy blockchains. So Decenemy is decentralized economy, and they have a bunch of blockchains that run masternodes. Now, their goal is to incentivize building on these blockchains. However, that hasn't really precipitated yet. And you can see they have a bunch of different blockchains, and each of these blockchains is relatively similar. Their blue chip, or rather their flagship asset is Sapphire. Now the Sapphire masternode gets about 53% APR, which is impressive, right? And the asset itself, if you zoom out, has been doing pretty well. This is Sapphire as an asset, right? The whole market's going down, Sapphire continues to go up. Another one of their assets, though, was Dash, right? And if you look at Dash as another example that you may have heard of, Dash Diamond, let's just look up Dash here. You can see the chart's a little bit different, right? We have 273%. Now, clearly, those rewards are going to put sell pressure on the asset, at least you would imagine, and so it is, right? So when you invest in Yieldnodes, effectively what you're doing is you're investing in a basket of these masternodes that generate yield over time. Now, Sapphire, again, being the flagship, Dash being one of the other popular assets. Peony is another one. There are various different assets. Many of them have similar charts to Dash. But how is Sapphire being kept afloat, right? That's an excellent question. You may notice that you can't really trade Sapphire or Dash on most centralized exchanges. The only place to trade these assets is on Buyrake. Now, Buyrake is owned by Decenemy. That's a very important point to understand. Because Buyrake is owned by and operated by Decenemy, the liquidity is owned by and operated by Decenemy. Which means that if Decenemy, or if Yieldnodes, which is a part of Decenemy, wants to allow for buy pressure to have a asymmetric or disproportionate effect on the price, meaning if you want buy pressure to push the price up more than usual, what they can do is they can pull liquidity. When you pull liquidity, buy and sell pressure has more of an impact, right? This is why it's always important to understand the liquidity of Bitcoin when big moves are about to be made. When you have less liquidity, buy pressure and sell pressure has more of an impact. So what Decenemy can do is, if they know they have a lot of funds coming in from Yieldnodes, for example, as investment funds, they can reduce liquidity, push those funds into one of their assets, and make the price go up. Now, of course, if bots try to follow this action, you may get some organic bot action also sort of buying into this and filling this up. And there are additionally people who try to trade these assets, and there is a portion of the asset trading on Buyrake, that is just traders sort of playing the markets. Now, additionally, if there starts to be a lot of sell pressure on any of these assets, what Decenemy or Yieldnodes could do is increase the liquidity on that asset so the sell pressure has less an effect. More liquidity, less effect from buy pressure and sell pressure. So, does Decenemy manipulate liquidity in order to control the effects of buy and sell pressure? Well, the answer is yes. I spoke to Steve of Yieldnodes, who I actually like. He's a very friendly guy, was very forthcoming, did not seem to be deceptive at all. I mean, I was asking him relatively hard questions, and he was just fully open about the way in which they operate. If you want to watch that video, I have posted it on Patreon. I posted it on Patreon more than, I think, over a month ago at this point. And I've been really hesitant to do this video since, because I know that Yieldnodes is a very touchy subject for a lot of people. So I want to do it justice. So Buyrake is where the assets are traded. Buyrake is owned by Decenemy. Decenemy can manipulate and does manipulate liquidity in order to affect buy and sell pressure, so that when new funds come in, they can play a balancing act between their assets to ensure that the yields are as good as they can possibly be. So the balancing act effectively is to maximize yields for investors, which is positive, but it's also certainly liquidity manipulation, which some people might see as, well, an issue. However, this is not unique to Yieldnodes. This is not unique to Decenemy, but I did think that investors should understand that's what's going on. Now, You can run these masternodes by yourself, and in fact, Yieldnodes and Ascendemy highly recommend you run your own nodes because the yields can be better. However, you want to make sure that if you do want to do that, you understand the risks involved. Most of these nodes are unpopulated. They do not have any apps or dApps on them. In fact, I believe the only chain that, well, I'm unsure, but the first chain to be incentivized should be Sapphire, and that hasn't come into fruition yet. So just know you're investing into a currently unpopulated chain. Now, these chains could be leased, these chains could be given out, right? No one wants to build a blockchain, so if you already have the blockchains, there is some sort of potential market for those. But at the moment, these are just sort of empty chains, at least to my knowledge. And some of the ones that I believe are the most compelling. Oh, okay, I don't really know all these assets here, but there are a few of them, and it seems as if some of them are more geared towards different things. Jackpot, clearly. Gambling. Is it Beacon? Yeah, there are a few of these that have decent ROI, but you also want to check, the charts, and you can check the charts on the Barake exchange. Byrake, sorry. I keep wanting to call it Barake. Let's see. Bonte, this is one that I believe is pretty... Ooh, right, so getting a lot of sell pressure here. Let's see, any other assets that are doing well? I am unsure. Let's look at Beacon. Okay, relatively flat. Maybe this is the one I was thinking of. If we look at Beacon, you can see what the... Yeah, Beacon, right, 142%. So this is one of the ones that I've heard about as people investing in. Again, I consider these all quite risky. But, if you look at the charts, maybe you can make decisions based off the charts. So, what is Yieldnodes' plan moving forward? Well, one of their plans is to work with a government and provide them with services in return for some levels of investments and cooperation, and they want to bring real-world asset investments into Decenemy being decentralized economy, as a way to provide protection against centralized, maybe perhaps regulations. Now, they did recently say which government they're going to be working with, and that is the... let me pause for a second and learn how to pronounce this country's name. Sao Tome and Principe, which is exactly what I would have thought anyways. But Sao Tome and Principe is a African island, I believe, and they have agreed to work with Yieldnodes. Now, I want to note that other assets, like, what was it, a long time ago, SafeMoon? I want to say, was that the name of it? SafeMoon also said they were working with this, an African nation, or I believe it was an African nation. And, how did SafeMoon do? So I don't necessarily put a lot of weight into this myself. I'm not trying to FUD Yieldnodes in any way, shape, or form, but I don't want people to immediately think, oh, okay, well, they have a government deal with a country, even if it's a small country, that's still a government deal. Clearly, there'll be more buy pressure on this. I want you guys to know that I don't necessarily enjoy investing, or I try not to invest on future promises, or especially not in real-world asset adaptation, because we really just haven't seen this yet at a level that's been functional. So this exists, and they're trying to work with batteries as well, some sort of clean energy batteries that, may be competitive with other electric battery companies that shall not be named. And so, that's sort of their goals, for what it's worth. Now, hopefully you are starting to understand the economy and the investments and how they function and where the yield comes from. When you invest in Yieldnodes, your initial investment is locked up for 6 months. So when you invest, you have to be thinking, in 6 months, how will my investment be doing? Right? If you want to withdraw your investment before that 6 months, you take a 50% penalty. It's a pretty hefty penalty, but some people, have a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt and want to remove their funds, and they can do that at a rather dramatic penalty. Those funds do go back into paying out rewards and things like that, so it benefits the decentralized economy, but it certainly doesn't benefit the investor there. One thing to note is that you can reinvest your rewards up to the 15th of that month and still benefit from all 4 weeks of yield that month. So most weeks get between like 1.2 and 1.6% yield. And if you have like $1,000 in Yieldnodes, and then you have $200 of earnings you haven't invested yet, if you invest them before the 15th, you will get the entire month's yield, which is kind of cool. Additionally, if you want to withdraw, you have to submit for withdrawal, request withdrawal before the 15th of the month. And if you do that, you will receive your withdrawal on the 8th of the next month. So you submit on the 15th of this month, let's say, as an example. You would not receive your funds until the 8th of the following month. So submit before the 15th, receive by the 8th. So people just today received their funds from last month. All things to take into consideration. You can withdraw in Bitcoin or USDT or Sapphire, which again is their flagship asset. If you withdraw into Bitcoin Sapphire, I believe there is no withdrawal fee. If you withdraw into USDT, there's like a 1% withdrawal fee that you may want to consider. And the reason that is, and I'm trying to remember exactly the details, it's because they want to continue utilizing your funds investment to the very last minute. And with Bitcoin Sapphire, that's easy for them to do. With USDT, they want to guarantee that return exactly right when you request it. So they can't continue to use your funds really until the last minute. They have to sort of stop and then give them to you, on the 8th of the next month. So, bit fuzzy, but I'm pretty sure that is correct. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers everything in Yieldnodes. What are the risks? Well, the risks are that although this has been going on since 2019 with great success, and their system does seem to be working, that does not mean it will go on forever. It does not mean it will continue working forever. The risks are that there are risks of buy rake being exploited or being hacked. There are risks of Yieldnodes being exploited or hacked. There are risks of the new investment not being able to continue to assist or help or pump the Yieldnode assets, and that even through the masterminding of the moving liquidity, new investment will not give them the leverage or ability to continue whatever process they're doing that's helping them push those yields out. Other risks are that the international deals that they have do not yield the returns necessary to maintain the yields promised, or that the external investments in like battery technology do not yield the interest necessary to return, the yields that are currently offered. One more thing to note: if Yieldnodes performs under 5% for 3 months straight, they will allow you to withdraw your initial at no cost and at no penalty. So that's one thing that they promise. That is pretty cool and pretty interesting. Steve from Yieldnodes is pretty responsive. The Yieldnodes team is pretty responsive. They did semi-recently remove their official Twitter, I believe. That could be back, I'm not sure. But they operate on Facebook. They operate as well on Telegram. You can go and participate in questions and discourse there. I will say the Facebook doesn't love me for, I don't know, reasons which may be obvious now. I don't shill Yieldnodes. I'm trying to explain the full risks to investors. And the Facebook mod, I will say, was excellent, because he says, and he even quotes Steve as saying, that Yieldnodes is a high-risk investment. Please do not invest more than you're willing to lose. And in Steve's own words, he says, if you have an extra €500 or so laying around, maybe throw it in there and get some yield on it. But do not put your life savings into Yieldnodes and expect that to be safe or wise or prudent investment. This is a high-risk node operating mechanism through which yield is created through a bunch of master nodes which have yet to gain widespread adoption. Okay, I believe that covers everything. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below. You can also jump on the Discord, free Discord, by the way. You can just hang out there and ask questions if you want to ask questions to me directly or the mod team or a bunch of really, really smart guys that probably smarter than me. You can join the premium Discord and, ask around. If you hated this video, please go ahead and rant and rave and call me all sorts of names in the comments. It's good for my character, builds character for me. Yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I genuinely hope I didn't get anything wrong. If I did get anything wrong, please let me know down below, and I will do my best to pin the comment and correct myself. That's it. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Oh, and don't please, guys, if you want to help out literally hungry children, donate to the hungry children. The links down below. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.